Hey everybody, I'm Creed, and this is Creed Saturday Morning, episode 18. Today what I'm working on is Nazgar from Robo. So RoboForce was, that I know of, was mostly toys. I used to see the toys in the catalog. I didn't have them. I wasn't all that interested. I don't find a robot that's more fire hydrant than robot to be all that cool. But after watching the cartoon, I actually liked the franchise. The cartoon was only one episode. It was sort of a pilot that wasn't picked up. It was in 1984, and it was made by Ruby Spears, one of the best cartoon companies around. And the cartoon had a lot of classic voices from that age. Including Peter Cullen and Alan Young, both do voices in the show. Nazgar himself, the villain of the piece, is voiced by Arthur Burkhart, who also voiced Destro in G.I. Joe, Copter and Turbo in Challenge the GoBots, Devastator on Transformers, and Spydrax on Sectors. So the guy did lots of cool voices. I really like the show. It's surprising that in just a half-hour episode, it seemed like an hour when I watched it, because it was so dense with story. So basically, there's an evil group of robots who are following their historic leader Nazgar from, I think it was like 2,000 years ago. He led a rebellion and caused a lot of trouble, and then they thought he was killed. Well, all these robots are gathering crystals together to get Nazgar back together, and they do, because here he is. And this was a really well done cartoon. I found this show. I've actually never heard of the show. Like I said, I've only heard of the toys. I heard of this show when I bought the second volume of GoBots on DVD because it's on there as an extra. And before we start a giant debate, a lot of people just automatically rhyme off about GoBots. Oh, GoBots aren't as good as Transformers. Stop being a sheep. If you watch GoBots and you watch Transformers, the cartoons are just as good as each other. And if you look at the GoBots toys and you look at half of the Transformers toys, their toys are just as good as each other. There's about 100 Transformers who each foot is half a hood of a car. That's lazy and not well made. And that's how they did GoBots. So I mean, you can't say, yes, some of the big Transformers are better than the small GoBots. Yes, they are. But, in general, half the Transformers line of toys are equal in quality to GoBots. And I don't know why people ride GoBots so hard. And actually, I have a GoBot villain coming up soon. So we'll really get into GoBots and how they get a bad name. But this is tied to that, like I said, because it's on the extras for the second volume. I really enjoyed the show. And especially enough for me to draw Nazgar. And Nazgar is the 85th cartoon villain in my gallery. Now I am way behind on videos, which is actually where I was trying to get. I want to have a lot of videos in the works, and I have probably footage for 20 more pieces of art that I haven't turned into videos yet. Because the bottleneck here is the me talking part. So I'm working on that. But right now, on my DeviantArt, I just posted villain number 93, who is Dr. Stankfoot from Zevo 3, a really modern cartoon. I think it was 2010. So I do go all over the place. I'll go back as far as Chili Willy or stuff like that, and I'll if there's something running right now that's good, I'll draw from it. But the core of my stuff is 80s and 90s. And I want to talk a little bit about DeviantArt. I've been on there 4 years. It's actually what made me amp up the frequency of my art. Because once I signed up for DeviantArt, and I got a paid membership. So I was like, okay, I put a little bit of money into this, so I have to stick with it, kind of a thing. And I did. And it's nice to know that you have a spot where people are looking for art. If you post art, they'll be, hey, he put up something new. That's good. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to add it to my favorites or whatever. And on there, I have a nice little group of regular people that always check on my stuff and they like my art. I don't know if it's really a place for sales of art. It doesn't seem like it, but it is a place to get your art seen, which is the start. Nobody's going to buy your stuff unless they know who you are. So just to get my art out there and seen and enjoyed by people, Deviant has been amazing, and I'm sticking with it. And I do recommend the paid membership. I think it was $20 for 3 months or something like that. It doesn't cost you much, but you get benefits. When I post a piece, because of my membership, I can also add thumbnails for other pieces of my art just below it, and that helps people to say like, well, hey, I like that, and hey, there's some other guys he did that are cool too, and then they may go into your whole gallery. And it also helps that I'm doing a series, so if somebody's interested in something in the series, they're probably going to start watching because there'll be other villains they like too. And I really can't believe that I'm up to 93 already. Actually 93, I have 94 ready to post soon, and 95 the pencils are done. So I only have 5 left to 100, which was my original goal for my Cartoon Villains gallery that I started 4 years ago. So I want to give you guys some tips, a little bit of tips for Deviant. And I know some people hate it. Hey, you're allowed to. And there are some really weird people on there that are into some weird stuff that they're using Deviant for stuff I don't use it for. But that's okay. A lot of the time, how I don't have a ton of time to browse through Deviant as much as I used to. A lot of the time, how I find new art to add to my favorites and to like is when someone adds one of my pieces to their favorites, I get a notification and a link to their favorites. So I get my favorites from other people's favorites usually. But it is kind of strange when somebody likes something totally different from what you do. So I'll link to their favorites and it'll be all, I don't know. Some people have all drawings of people hugely inflated, and then that's all it'll be, and then my one cartoon villain. I'm like, okay, I will take that as a compliment. If you usually like something totally different, and then there's some people where all their favorites are mostly porn, and I don't know what to even say about that. I use it as an art site. That is not anything I use it for. But if you go to somebody's favorites and it's a lot of porn and then my cartoon villain, I also take that as a compliment. I'm like, okay, you're going outside your wheelhouse. No matter what your favorites are, if they're all different from mine and then you have one of mine, I take that as a compliment that you stepped outside your wheelhouse and like my art. But what I really like about Deviant is, and I think I have, let me check here. I think I have about 130 watchers, which is not a giant amount. Yeah, I got 131 watchers. It's not a giant amount. And maybe 30, 40 of those people are regular fans, which is great. I love those guys who, as soon as I post something up, they're like, oh, favorite that. Creed puts up something new. And that encourages you. Even though there's no sales involved. I'm not making money from this right now. It's just nice to know that somebody's looking forward to seeing what I do next. And Deviant for years has been my sole spot for that. Now recently on my infinitecoolness.com Facebook page, I'm getting even higher traffic than what I get on Deviant when I post a piece. So that's another way to follow me, and a lot of people live on Facebook. So if you're already on Facebook, add infinitecoolness.com on there and you're subscribed to my art. But the coolest thing I find about Deviant is it's really because I do cartoon stuff. Now I do some other stuff, but the cartoon stuff, there's cartoon groups, and I'm joined into most of them. And so when I post a new piece, I post it to those groups, and that really helps it circulate around. And what I really like is in those groups is hardcore cartoon fans. So I get a lot of good replies and discussion about characters and storylines and stuff about the cartoon, that's why I love the show. You know, I'm a fan myself. That's why I make this stuff. So if you're just really starting out, and I say if you're starting out, I still feel like I'm starting out. I've been doing this for years. I'm still a very small fish in a very small pond. But You got to keep it up. I have a couple hundred, I think, pieces of art on DeviantArt. I like to post there regularly. That's my most regular spot. Like I said, I'm way ahead of YouTube. So I have probably 20 pieces up that aren't on YouTube yet. And also, what I noticed is, I would think all my DeviantArt people would automatically go over to my YouTube. They're sort of a different group because they're looking for just art, and the people on YouTube are looking for just video. So, and there's some crossover, but if you have two different audiences like that, don't expect them to completely cross over, because it's not going to happen. So my best recommendation, if you're trying to get something seen, first of all, join DeviantArt. I really love it there. It's a great community. I like I said, there's a lot of different communities there, and I'm not involved in a lot of those, but especially the cartoon and horror stuff I'm into there. There's some really great communities, and it's really hardcore fans are in those groups. So if you join, and then you join the groups that match your art, you're off and running already, and people will be seeing your stuff pretty quick. So I do recommend every artist should have a DeviantArt account. But as far as cartoon art goes, I have my art exactly how I want it. I like for my stuff to look like I did it with a big fat marker. But people don't realize, and I noticed something else. But I was watching one of Jeff Lafferty's videos, and he was noodling away at a little shadow or something, and he, putting a zillion different lines and different colors and different, lots of all stuff I don't do. And I was like, wow, the patience involved. And then I realized what I do looks way simpler and way more streamlined. But to get it to look so streamlined takes me a long time. Because when I do these videos, I don't record more than half of what I actually do, because I do the inks. Now I used to show more of my pencils or like stages of my pencils, because I don't have a camera set up that I can aim at paper and draw. I don't have that kind of setup right now, and I'm thinking this year I may do that. But the pencils part isn't the important part of the art for me, so I'm not super worried about that. It's the inking. The inking is the reason that I do my art. The inking is the part I love. The inking is the amazing zone that I get into. So when I ink on video, what you see, okay, I go around. First I do the outline, then I cut out all the white pieces. Then what you don't see is I stop the video before I do the colors, and I go through, and I zoom in 100, 200%. That's the other thing. All my art is giant poster sized, is the size I work on it on. So if I want to do it quickly, I can just resize it smaller, and that'll smooth out all the lines. But I want the 100% to be as smooth as the 20%. So what I do in the middle of just about every video I've ever made is about 6 hours of super OCD, going along each line and each shape and taking out any little bumps in the line, any little changes. I want sleek lines. And that's what takes all the time in my art. To make it look like I did it in 2 minutes takes me 6 or 7 hours. But that's the look I like. And if I didn't do that, I'd be looking at like, oh, look at those horrible lines. They're so bumpy. But no, I'm smoother. I'm always sanding out those little bumps, and that's what most of my art is the inking part. And it's the detail inking, which if I showed you 6 hours of me taking tiny little bumps off a line and straightening out lines and fixing curves and all that, that'd be very boring stuff in the middle of my video. So I show the basic inks, okay, and that's what I do. I don't show when I go back and I streamline it all, and then I go through and show the coloring and the rest of it. So really a lot to do with my art is letting my OCD go to get it smoother, always smoother. And I think that shows in my style that's what I'm going for. So I just wanted to quickly get this video up. There will be a lot more. Like I said, I have about 20 in the queue that I just have to record for, which is a whole other thing. That seems to be my bottleneck is getting myself to talk, because art is a solitary thing. I can just sit here. I could sit here for 4 days and work on a piece and never say a word to anybody. I live by myself, and there's something just calming about that. I express myself through art, not through talking. So that's kind of been the problem of me doing this channel, is getting myself to actually talk about this stuff and It's a chore, but I am working on it, and I really want to make all these videos I have here, and I really want to make something special for my 100th villain. So that's coming up soon. I was hoping for the end of the year, but I am not sure yet. But it's what I've decided to do is I'm taking all my plans and all my rules for stuff, and I'm just throwing them out the window, and I'm gonna follow my art where it goes right now. My inspiration show is on hold for a little while, but you will see that guy again in some form or another. But that's on hold because I'm really trying to dig hardcore into getting art and art videos done. I've got about 10 more villains, and then I got rebuilds of stuff I lost on a dead hard drive. That's actually it's all the bad guys from the Drac Pack. So I've got all that video for that coming up, and those were ones that I did like a year before I started my channel. So I wasn't recording videos at the time. So in a way, my misfortune is your fortune if you want to see Drac Pack villains on video, because they're coming. So I've got lots of things in the works, and I've got a lot of stuff done that I just have to process into videos. So hopefully it shouldn't be another 2 weeks between videos like this was. This is why I decided I had to buckle down and get one out, because I don't want it to be too long between videos and you'll be like, yeah, I remember that guy, he used to draw cartoons. No, I'm still doing it. I'm still here. Fight on, everyone, fight on. But I am going to focus on Creed Saturday Morning and see if I can get more episodes of that out, because like I said, I have all these villains to burn through. So more cool art on the way. Stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this one. Do you have a favorite obscure cartoon character? That's what I would like to know, because I mean, this Nazgar, this was on one episode, and I have lots of other really obscure characters. So who's your favorite really obscure character that a lot of people don't know about, if you have one? Well, anyway, I'm out of here. I have more art to make. Have a great week, and stay tuned for more. And until then, take her easy.